Yeah, hi, ladies and gentlemen. It's my turn to talk. Please do not read the long title because what I really gonna talking about is are for as many as possible, how to design and develop inclusive augmented reality applications. About me, this is my first time here. I'm Attila Bekkvik Szentirmai. I'm working in NTNU, which is Norwegian University. I'm teaching Internet of Things, and also my research interest is surrounded around universal design, human-computer interaction, immersive technologies, and game development. So that's the reason I'm here, and that's the reason why I found you. I'm gonna talking about R, universal design, and some of my research projects and findings very fast because I have extremely limited time here. Now, augmented reality, a technology we all admire and love, and it's crazy old, over 50 years old, soon 60 years old, and each and every year we wait for a breakthrough, and we wait for something gonna turn things around, and we will achieve mainstream adoption. Now, mainstream adoption, I mean that R will be the first choice of device, the first choice of technology. However, it's not really working out yet. And this is very often how people I'm talking perceive things, that they think there are immersive technologies. We have the technological limitations, and those technological limitations are the barriers for mainstream adoption. Now, this is not really what we agree to working with human-centered design. What we see is a neglecting of human-centered design is an issue. And we truly believe in the past 5 or 7 years, technology is already there. We have the infrastructure, we have the environment, and we have the hardware to create highly inclusive applications and devices for the masses. And how do we do that? Well, with universal design. So we believe in the missing puzzle piece, which can complement augmented reality and mainstream adoption and digital inclusion, is universal design. Universal design is the design of products and environments for everyone to the greatest extent possible without a need for adoption. Or, as a definition, what we use in a classroom, we used to say best for as many as possible, best for as many as possible. And we have this mantra, which sounds awesome in Norwegian, best mulig for flest mulig. And this is our mindset when we start, design, and develop application for highly diverse user base. What is universal design on a picture? The users. So then you can see user diversity over there. Different demographics, different background, different cultural background, different skills, different abilities, a lack of skills, lack of abilities, talents over there, a lack of talents. So users are different. And through universal design, we try to provide them the best solution without a need for adoption. How universal design works, we not believe in disability. There's a non-existing things. There are goals and goals to achieve and meet and demands in a digital world, and a person's skills and abilities. And if there's a mismatch between these two, that creates disability. That creates a gap over there, what we have to eliminate or mitigate. So how do we do that? Well, through design, we're lowering the demands or the goals to achieve, so there's no mismatch, or using technology, for example, augmented reality, to boost or increase or enhance the person's skills and ability to eliminate the gap over there. So if there's disability in our digital world, which is universally designed, then we did a bad job over there. Universal design has 3 main pillars, namely accessibility, usability, and user diversity. And universal design can't really exist without any of these. Without accessibility, we can't really talk about universal usability as well. Why practice universal design? Well, because of digital inclusion. And I'm not talking about the metaverse. I'm talking about believing in a digital information society already, especially in Norway. All of the services are in the internet: healthcare, education, entertainment, EEE services. Now, those who cannot access or interact with the content, those are the digital divine, and they can't participate in modern society. So they can't practice the human rights. So that's a very crucial issue. Now, how do we enforce digital inclusion? By legislation. And there are international and national legislations helping us, guiding us, and forcing us to deal with digital inclusion. For instance, talking about education applications, every education applications in Norway must be universally designed, creating a lot of head scratching, because what about augmented reality applications? We have the 7 principles, we have guidelines, but they're not truly optimized or focusing on augmented reality. How to evaluate those? How to develop those? Evaluators not know much about R because it's relatively new to teach in a university. Our designers are usually not from the school of regular or more traditional digital applications, the game designers, where the skills and abilities and challenge the skills and abilities of users is a part of the narrative or the challenge and demand of the game. However, it's different with everyday applications. So there are existing gaps, what we have to contribute, and that's what our research do. Why not everyone practice universal design? Well, most of all, the lack of focus on the full picture, accessibility, usability, user diversity. Instance, user-centered papers in augmented reality are focusing on usability studies. Some apps, some prototypes, some things tested with users, and then through user feedback, it's good, not good, or further development or iterations of the application. However, usability in our case is step number 2. First, users must be able to use the app, interact with the app, consume the app. So don't overlook with people with impairments, with the disabilities, with the below average digital literacy over there. We have to make things accessible for them first, and then usability, how to make the best thing, the best design, the optimal design over there. That's step number 2. So how it says lack of focus on the full picture, it's very often in research jumps to the second thing, not considering the foundations or the most necessary thing. Tell me one thing which is not accessible but usable. Probably you can't. Misconceptions. So many designers heard about universal design. They think that universal design is designed for the disabled, because you have to do universal design in the name of accessibility, in the name of inclusion. The examples are always come from people with impairments and disabilities over there, and they think, oh, this is all about trade-offs. This is all about compromising design. I can't make anything visually appealing. I can't include advanced features over there. That's not true. So universal design done right, you're not focusing on persons with disabilities, you're not focusing on below average users, best for as many as possible. And that's the challenge, and that's the beauty of universal design. And I mentioned the tech-centered approach, especially in augmented reality, is so focused on the hardware and hardware advancements. But what about users, user goals? And what about the diverse user base over there? Those who are not tech savvy, those who are not gamers, those who are not up to the metaverse. We have to deliver the technology for them as well, especially if the goal is mainstream adoption. So how universal design works as an evaluation framework, it has 7 principles and guidelines. However, these guidelines are very abstract. So for example, when we make a paper about evaluating representative sample of currently existing augmented reality applications, we have to specify like what each and every guideline means and what are the different aspects we're evaluating in applications. Evaluating accessibility in existing AR applications in a store, it's very easy because there's none. I couldn't find one application that provided any accessibility features or inbuilt accessibility thing. It could be my mistake, but there are not so many out there as I experienced over there. So that's about accessibility. The most trivial usability issues over there, you can see a heart. When you have a tangible object, you can see the heart, the different parts of the heart, and read the label. The label is white. So if you do the same thing in front of a white wall or outdoors, then the text is absolutely disappear. Very trivial and very little attention focusing on to secure the contrast and readability in such applications. The second one is when the developer tried to provide some flexibility. So the app works with head-mounted mode with the cardboard and handheld mode. However, in handheld mode, you have a cursor, and then you have to align that cursor with the cube you have, the physical object. And when it's all aligned, then you have to somehow also click the screen in a right place, and then you trigger interaction. So you feel like I want to grow a third limb over there to interact with the application. This is also very common, that try to provide flexibility, but is this flexibility? Because it's not really usable, is it, in this way? And last but not least, many AR applications, users downloading it and they can't use it because it's only a live camera stream over there. They don't know, they're not reading app description, or sometimes app description is missing. So they don't know that they have to have image targets or image markers. And these image markers, very often, as you can see, it's not a part of the application. So the thing and the whole visual appearance is not really coherent and doesn't have any information for the users. So there are improvements over there, but these are the most trivial things, and also the things that it's easiest to patch up. So how universal design work as a development guide? Here we have foundation, skills and abilities, and possible ICT barriers using the technology for users. So that's the foundation over there. Users, skills and abilities, and how to design to fulfill those things. The next step is the goal of the users, goal orientation of the users, preferences of users, indoor, outdoor, sitting, lying, head-mounted, handheld, third person when using the front-facing camera of a tablet or a smartphone, like a mirror kind of thing. Actually, some users, especially the elderly, they really prefer that way to interact with our content. And then, of course, the limitations, what we have, hardware limitations, development kit limitations, computer vision limitations, and how to enhance that, for example, with markers are easier to recognize, also visually appealing to humans, etc., etc. And the last thing is that actually build the application, and of course, user testing it. And this is an iterative thing. So this is how we built up an application from the ground in universal design. There are some examples. I'm not have time to explain what you see in a picture, but this is an educational augmented reality application. You can learn about the marine toad over there. All of these recordings are in head-mounted mode over there, but the app works without any voodoo and magic in handheld mode. And spoiler, this application can be used with the blind person. Blind person interacted with it without activating accessibility options, without downloading third-party applications, without making kung fu moves between the image marker and a camera to activate something to the blind person. The blind person didn't have to register and say blind person. It just works out of the box. Would like to talking about it in another time or read the paper when it will be one day, perhaps, hopefully, published on that, while you also watching the example of how third-person mode works over there when we're using the front-facing camera and interacting with the digital content. Here it's another very, very easy prototype to create the augmented reality screen reader. We have a physical paper over there. We're using AR. It's recognizing the text to turn it to a digital text, highlighting the text, and also the screen reader reads it up. So if you have reading problems, or if you like when something or a voice reading it up for you while you're reading, or you just wanted to, you're using handheld mode, smartphone mode, and you just want to turn physical printed materials to audiobooks, just start it, put it in your package, and go to work. That works as well. So this is accessibility is not a feature, it's a part, a nature of the application. And also, this is a very old prototype. It's nearly 5 years old. This is banknote recognition. It's meant to be a tourist app, meaning if I'm in a foreign country using US dollar, using the application, it recognizes the banknote. It tells me it's US dollar. It tells me its value, 100 US dollar, and tells me how much is that in Norwegian kroner. Now, in fact, when the user tested it and it works with local currency with Norwegian kroner, the test person started to get tears. She was a blind lady and told me that she always had problems with banknotes and always relied on her husband's help to identify banknotes. Now, spoilers, in Norway, we're not truly using banknotes anymore. In the past, I don't even know, 3-4 years. So that issue is somewhat solved, but it's very touching when you see when an application universally designed, it's truly available for a diverse user base, and somebody can get emotional just recognizing banknotes over there. And of course, we had a good laughter after the user testing when she shared the secret that now I don't need my husband anymore, but we truly hope that they still together after that. There are other prototypes. I'm not gonna talk because I'm running out of time. So what you must consider, and again, these are trivial things, but most of the applications are applications out there right now missing these features. Handheld mode, hand-mounted mode. That's good. Provide flexibility. When it's handheld mode, portrait, landscape mode, desktop mode. So desktop mode, third-party mode, take advantage of the front-facing camera. You would be surprised how many users would like to just put it down somewhere and look him, herself on the screen interacting with digital objects. Multimodal information representation, visual information should be also narrated and have the same or equal meaning in auditory form, and provide, of course, tactile feedback as well for user interaction. And enhanced computer vision, here I meant it. If you can, then image target, object targets, optimize the design for better recognition and better tracking for your computer vision algorithm. Main takeaways, and these are very high level results, not real results, but takeaway based on experience. promoting universal design. Augmented reality applications can benefit of universal design as evaluation tool because it can detect severe, mild, or design flows over there. It can also help and aid our development. There's a proof over there, prototypes we did are more accessible and more usable for a diverse user base over there. So thumbs up for that. Universal designed R remains engaging. This is very important in educational applications because one of the big takeaways or greatest features in R in learning is student engagement. And one of the greatest fears of using universal design that you end up with something compromised and dual and not cool. You saw some of the prototypes very fast. They don't look different. They look just like everything else over there. However, they're more accessible and more usable for a highly diverse user base than on other applications. Our features can enhance accessibility without the need for additional assistive technologies. And that's key. Accessibility is not a feature. It's not an afterthought. It's not we have a regular application and then accessibility. We have computer vision, we have cameras, we have sensors everywhere, and we can communicate information multimodally. We can enhance the skills and abilities. We can amplify the senses of the users as well, especially with those users who need it. So this is a very, very suitable platform for digital inclusion. And main takeaways, universal design is here to say, fits perfectly for augmented reality. Spoilers, it fits also for virtual reality as well, but that's not today's topic. What do we need? More or specific universal design guidelines, success criteria for our applications, a list of best practices, very fast, some examples, more specific. The guidelines are abstract. We have to concretize. And we have to have consensus how to concretize, because I say this and this and this, it doesn't mean it means for another expert, another expert, another expert. So somewhat we need more specific thing and we have to agree on that. For example, secure the contrast between foreground and background. In this example, what is the background? The user's real environment over there, which could be different, changing colors, light conditions, this and that, or the background of the digital content. So a lot of things, what we not really have to think about in a regular two-dimensional world, in three-dimensional interfaces need more specification, and we have to be clear and we have to avoid ambiguity in this case. Success criteria and best practices. Universal design have no success criteria. So we need something that you must include this at least, but we need best practices to avoid what happens in a picture. We have stairs, and next to every stairs, we have to have a wheelchair ramp over there. Is this accessible or usable? No, it's a waste of resources and also can create problems and harm our users. We shouldn't do the same mistakes with R, VR, or with the GatherVerse. So we need best practices, evidence-based best practices, and we need success criteria. Also, another example is paradox. Do not touch hot, and it's written in the same way with Braille, so you have to touch it. So to read it, if you're visually impaired, and you're gonna burn yourself. You shouldn't do the same mistakes. And last but not least, because I'm running out of time, is achieving true digital inclusion. And true digital inclusion means that it doesn't mean that, oh, you're disabled, so let's just go and use the door for the disabled, or, oh, activate the disabled person's feature in our applications. Those are not features. So out of the box, those things should be there. And again, AR, VR, and even the metaverse, we're not limited to the physical world over there. So we can achieve true digital inclusion. And if you wonder what's the next example, is also a very trivial example how things are. Very often, a horrible website or a horrible application is some accessibility buttons over there. You have to deep dive into the menu, and then the menu gives you the opportunity to redesign the application. Users who are in need, users who are needing inclusion, they should not give this extra burden to carry or the job to redesign the application. That's not realistic and is not truly inclusive. Now, that was the message today. I'm truly sorry I went or I run over the time, and but that was it. See you next time.